In this video we will delve into the tragic and miraculous story of the Andes. Today you will learn about the events of Flight 571's disaster, the astounding miracle of survival, and much more. On October 13, 1972, the Uruguayan Air Force Flight 571 departed from Montevideo, Uruguay, heading to Santiago, Chile. The plane was carrying 45 people, including a rugby team, their friends, and family members. Due to a severe storm, they had to make an emergency landing in Argentina and spent the night there. Despite unstable weather conditions the following day, they decided to proceed with the flight. However, just minutes after takeoff, the plane crashed into the Andes Mountains. There are different accounts of what caused the crash. Some say the plane lost both wings after hitting a mountain, while others claim it had to make an emergency landing due to severe turbulence. At the time, without thorough investigations, the exact cause was unclear. However, after extensive investigations, it was concluded that the crash was due to a human error by the co-pilot, Dante Laguerara. He mistakenly believed they were closer to the airport than they actually were, leading to an early descent amid the storm, resulting in the crash. Upon impact, 12 people died instantly. The crash occurred in the snow during a storm, preventing immediate rescue. Over the following days, 17 more people succumbed to the extreme cold, injuries, lack of food, and other harsh conditions. This tragic event became known as the Andes tragedy. The miracle is that out of the 45 people on the flight, 16 survived and were eventually rescued. These 16 individuals endured 72 days in the freezing cold, in the middle of the snow, in extreme and inhumane conditions at an altitude of 3,000 meters. Nighttime temperatures dropped to minus 30 degrees Celsius. They had no food, supplies, or medicine, and to survive, they had to resort to the unimaginable, including cannibalism. One of the survivors, cardiologist Roberto Canessa, who was just 19 at the time, said they initially survived by eating chocolates and other sweets found in passengers' luggage. The real problem arose when the food ran out after a few days. They began to eat anything they could find, including shoe soles, rubber, cigarettes, toothpaste, anything they could chew on to avoid starving. Not knowing how long they would be stranded or when rescue might arrive, the hunger became unbearable, and someone eventually suggested eating the bodies of the deceased. Although it sounds extreme, it was a matter of survival. The situation was dire and they were all weakening. The only option left was to eat the bodies of their deceased friends and family members. This was incredibly difficult, as they knew each other well. Teammates, friends, relatives. It was a horrifying decision, but they chose survival over death. As the days went by, they exhausted every possible food source, even consuming the airplane seats. At a critical point, they collectively decided to survive by any means necessary, including cannibalism. This decision was heavily criticized at the time, with many labeling it inhumane. But imagine yourself in their position. What would you do? Their knowledge and skills also played a crucial role in their survival. For instance, Roy Harley, a 20-year-old engineering student, managed to rig a radio using the plane's battery. This allowed them to hear news about their disappearance and ongoing search efforts, providing some comfort. However, 10 days after the crash, they heard on the radio that the search had been called off. Despair set in again, but they knew they had to act. The survivors realized they couldn't wait for rescue any longer. They prepared for weeks and selected two of the most capable individuals, Fernando Parrado and Roberto Canessa, to seek help. On December 12th, they began their trek. After 9 days, they encountered Sergio Catalan, a Chilean shepherd, near the isolated village of Los Maitenes. Catalan rode for 10 hours to alert authorities and get help. After 72 days in the mountains, the 16 survivors were finally rescued, despite being declared dead by authorities. Initially, a helicopter was sent to rescue Parrado and Canessa, and later, other teams arrived to save the rest of the group. By December 23, 1972, all survivors had been rescued. The story of Flight 571 is not just about survival but about the human spirit's resilience in the face of unimaginable odds. Imagine being stranded at 3,000 meters above sea level, in temperatures plummeting to minus 30 degrees Celsius at night without adequate food, water, or medical supplies. Every day was a fight for survival, and their ordeal included battling the extreme cold, hunger, and the emotional trauma of cannibalism. Roberto Canessa, one of the survivors, mentioned how they initially survived on chocolates and sweets found in the wreckage. However, as days turned into weeks, these resources were quickly depleted. The survivors were forced to make unthinkable decisions, including consuming non-food items like shoe leather, rubber, and even toothpaste, in a desperate attempt to stave off starvation. The turning point came when they had exhausted all possible food sources, and the brutal reality of their situation set in. They were forced to confront the possibility of cannibalism. It was not a decision taken lightly, but one born out of sheer necessity. With no rescue in sight and their physical conditions deteriorating, they chose survival over succumbing to the elements. The psychological toll was immense. These were not strangers but friends, teammates, and family members. The emotional burden of consuming the bodies of those they once knew was almost unbearable. Yet, their will to survive was stronger. They decided collectively to do whatever it took to stay alive, even if it meant eating the flesh of their fallen companions. Roy Harley, another survivor, played a crucial role in their survival. With his engineering knowledge, he managed to repair a radio using the plane's battery, allowing them to listen to news broadcasts. This provided a glimmer of hope, as they could hear updates about the search efforts. However, the crushing blow came when they heard the search had been called off after 10 days, as authorities assumed there were no survivors. Faced with the grim reality that no one was coming to save them, the survivors knew they had to take matters into their own hands. They decided to send out an expedition to seek help. Fernando Parado and Roberto Canessa, deemed the strongest, were chosen for this daunting task. After 9 grueling days of trekking through the harsh mountainous terrain, they encountered Sergio Catalan, a Chilean shepherd. Catalan's decision to ride for 10 hours to alert authorities ultimately led to the survivors' rescue. The story of Flight 571 is known as the Miracle of the Andes. It stands out not just because of the survival of 16 people in such extreme conditions, but also because of the sheer will and determination these individuals demonstrated. Their survival is a testament to the human spirit's resilience and the power of hope. This extraordinary tale has inspired numerous films, series, and books. One notable film is Alive, released in 1993, which was based on the Andes tragedy. More recently, Netflix announced a new film, The Snow Society, based on a book by survivor Roberto Canessa, set to premiere in Spain in December 2023 and globally in January 2024. The miraculous survival of individuals like Roy Harley, who weighed only 37 kilograms when rescued despite standing 1.80 meters tall, underscores the severity of their ordeal. Harley and other survivors view the experience as life-changing, teaching them to value every day and never give up, no matter how dire the circumstances. Carlos Paez, another survivor, emphasized that the accident, despite its horrors, was ultimately a story of life's triumph over adversity. He believes that their survival was not just about physical endurance, but also about mental strength and the will to live. This story teaches us to appreciate each day and to fight for survival against all odds. If the survivors had given up, their story would have ended in tragedy rather than a miracle. Their incredible journey from despair to hope and survival is a powerful reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. Thank you for watching this video. If you found this story moving, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. Watch another video or stay tuned for the next one, coming soon. We appreciate your viewership. Thank you and see you next time.